but like the core of my being, right? I'm like, that's why when people are like, oh, you can be a gut type, I was like, I'm a gut type. I don't know what the fuck gut type is. I'm a gut type though, because it'll feel like I'm fine china or crystal, where it's like if you put a hand on me, everything's gonna spider crack and just fall, and there will be this loss of self that I how do I find myself and bring it back together again, right? Like that's how I see myself.
Welcome to another episode of What It's Like to Be You. I'm Josh Levine, your host, and on this show, I interview accurately typed guests about their experience as their Enneagram type. Today, my guest is Cassandra Carol, Cass for short, and Cass is a self-prosocial 9-wing 8 with 7-wing 8 and 2-wing 3 fixes. So that's 972, triple positive trifix. And Cass is hilarious. This conversation is very high energy. And I want to just say up front, part of the whole investigative focus of this conversation was how big and robust Cass's energy is, and at the same time, how careful and non-disruptive she's trying to be with her environment. And so she got 8 on 8-wing under 9 fix. She's got 7-wing 8, and then 2-wing 3. So those are really big energy fixes, kind of encompassed in a 9 package. And so all this hugeness of energy coming out, but at the same time, not trying to ruffle feathers or hurt people or disrupt the environment and all that kind of stuff. So that was a really interesting push-pull dynamic in this conversation. And I also want to point out that Cass has capital T trauma in her history, but also as a triple positive type, the way that she discusses that history is sort of almost fun and even flippant and loose. But it doesn't diminish the seriousness and the severity of what she went through. But at the same time, she does carry with her a sense of inner fragility that she has worked to strengthen. And her journey of what she's done to strengthen that, like watch really intense movies that resonate with her traumatic past, was fascinating to me and kind of spoke to a core body center theme of testing my strength and endurance and growing into my capacity to handle the world. Finally, Cass's relationship story is absolutely wild, starting from a place of deep religiosity and kind of youthful immaturity, and then getting married to a man. I'll save the details because they're just so juicy, but then later getting divorced and losing her religion, and the whole kind of attachment story underneath all of that, as well as the classic stuff around leaving one's religion and, et cetera. So a lot of really interesting stuff here, specifically around the bigness of Cass's energetic presence and how on the surface it'd be hard to tell that she was a 9 up front. So if you want to learn more about Type 9 or the Enneagram, then please come check us out at theenneagramschool.com. You can read everything about the Enneagram there, and also check out more interviews just like this, and check out our intro course. And without further ado, I'm very excited for you to learn from Cass. I'd love to start by asking you about your friend that you brought with you today.
This is my fiance.
No. I'm talking about. Yeah, that.
Yeah, I literally told my kids, I was like, I'm getting this in the video. Like, I'm getting the Yeti in.
So
my
what
emotional
is this?
support Yeti. This is a squishmallow. They're called squishmallows. They feel like marshmallows. And me and my kids started collecting them like a few years back, and like I saw this one and I needed it in my life. Green's my favorite color. And it's a Yeti.
It feels like your type. It's like it's self-pres 9, right?
Deadbeat hippie.
But it's also
the rainbow.
There's something 7 about it too, just like the randomness of a Yeti,
Yeah. Yes. The 7 fixes I feel like is strong when you're a 9. It's so much more expansive than 9. So I feel like you can always tell when someone has a 7 fix if they're a 9.
Yeah. Well, I think this is where I want to start, because I think that you have just so much energy as a 9. I mean, huge energy as a 9.
Yeah. I got mistyped constantly before Enneagrammer.
I know. And even it's, I almost wonder if you have the most possible energy as a 9, just typologically. So you have 9-wing 8, 7-wing 8, and then 2-wing 3.
Would 2-wing 1 make it more though? Because I feel like I'd be because 2-wing 3. I don't know. I mean, maybe because there's the double image instead of image body. But
I don't know. You could argue that with a 3 fix, you'd have an extra assertive kick, so
the
that's
assertive
potentially
fix,
there.
yeah.
But the thing about it is that you're so interpersonal. Like
Yes.
when we meet,
I'm like, you're right.
yes,
I'm
it's that.
so
Yeah,
interpersonal.
yes, you're often checking in on me. You're making sure is everything okay
Yes.
for you. It's like whoa, just
100%.
your
Well, I
gaze
teach
is
too.
and there you go. You teach. Okay,
I,
yeah.
I teach and I teach teenagers, and I
Hmm.
teach them at 15 years old, and it's a 30-hour course that they have to do to be able to get their permit. So
So
it's
you teach
like,
drive. Actually, let's start. So you teach driver's ed.
yeah. Oh, I mean, so okay. So I
Yeah,
run a business. My family has owned
yeah.
multiple driving schools. So I've been a driving instructor since I was 20 years old. I'm 41 now. Oh no, I'll be 41. I'll be 41 in July. I'm 40.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
40. So I've listened to a lot of things on Enneagram, and they talk about the two fix being able to kind of like, it's always trying to like get deep inside of you, kind of thing. And I think that that's where some of this comes. Obviously, two fixes are not like three fixes more common. So leaving things to just, as long as it's like efficient or going well. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a three, or a three fix. So I don't know. But I have a pretty strong desire to, whether it's healthy or not, know the inside of someone, know the secrets of someone. Like, and because I felt so unknown. I don't want I don't, especially teenagers. I deal with a lot of teenagers. They're going through all that emotional turmoil, and I, without even knowing it, I position myself almost like a therapist. It's like, I remember being a teenager. I have not lost that. There is that innocence around, well, even double eight, there's innocence there too. So it's like, I do quickly like pick up on things where I'm like, trauma. I understand trauma because I have it too. Like, you're seen now. And that was such a help. The more I was seen, the more I was vocal. It was so healing for me. So I do that. But like, as I've learned more on the Enneagrammer, I recognize that I can do that without someone's permission. A four fixed person, unless you're extremely close to them, is not going to, it's going to be viewed as an attack. So I try to be much more cognizant of that now, like as I've gone, as I've aged and learned. I
Yeah.
do, but I check in a lot. It's also anxiety and stuff.
I just since you brought it up, maybe we go there now. But you mentioned trauma as a kid.
Yeah.
Are you okay to talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah,
And then just how you
absolutely.
reacted, because there's so much. I mean, the reason I go there is just because it's so the way we react to our circumstances
Yes.
says so much about our type. And
Yes.
so, can you just
Well,
talk
and the
about like,
younger
yeah,
you are too, I think makes such a
right,
difference because it's more evident how
yeah,
you cope. So yeah,
yeah,
I have a significant trauma, but it wasn't constant. So
hmm,
I think that's why I've come out of trauma like I guess with less damage. I mean, the damage is there internally, and there's a process and all that stuff. But I mean, I had sexual abuse trauma. I had some physical and like mental abuse as well, just because. Um, well, I mean, okay, so as a younger person, your brain doesn't fully understand, so you internalize everything and make it about yourself, right? And then as you get older, you sort of realized that it was like, I feel like the internal monologue of a lot of people that have experienced significant childhood trauma, and I think that this is common because I talk to a lot of people about these things, is that it feels like something about you're marked, and that anyone who's abusive can smell or see that mark on you or whatever, and that they constantly find you. That's like, like that's like the internal for a lot of people, especially young girls, but I'm sure young boys, because we don't even touch trauma with young boys half the time. It's hidden, and they it's worse for them. So I'm losing my train of thought because it's this stuff. um but yeah, So I mean I a nine wing eight. I hid myself away, and I created a total different personality structure on the outside. And I now, looking back, I was aware of the fact that I did not present what I felt was the real me, um, from a very young age. I mean, like 5 or 6 years old. Like I already was aware of, like, okay, so like Mulan, the Disney movie came out,
Yeah.
and Christina
Uh-huh.
Aguilera sang this banger. It was like, when will my reflection show who I am inside?
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
fucking wrote that in lipstick on the mirror of my room, because it was like,
Yes.
none
Yeah.
of you know. None of you will ever know. Like, really, I want to be so nine. I want to be curled up under 18 blankets with my favorite book, away from the world, just hidden away. I don't want to be away from people because I'm a pretty social person, but like I could be in the other room where I can hear them, but I don't have to even participate. And then the outward presenting Cassandra was very much seven wing eight. You know, like if you would think of a
Hmm.
child, how you'd think a seven wing eight would be, that would have been me. You know, like I was loud, I was boisterous, I was funny, I was aggressive. I was aggressive because I realized pretty quickly in life that, like, if you present aggressive, then people don't realize that you're actually a little marshmallow inside that can be ripped apart and destroyed, and they don't fuck with you as much.
Yeah. Okay, there's so much here. All right, first of all,
Yeah.
it's it would be difficult to sense your nineness just like on first boom meeting you, because you present with
I
so
don't give it to
much
you.
you present with so much solidity and force. But everything you just said, your like fantasy dream is to be under 18 blankets with your book and your coziness. That's all self-pres 9 plus
Yes.
this thing about
Oh, sorry.
um
Diet Dr. Pepper.
oh
Collected.
oh that's no, that's fine. You can
Okay.
drink, you can drink on camera, you're
It's
fine.
my
um
obsession.
oh good, okay. It's also you're triple positive, 972, and you've
Yeah.
mentioned that being triple positive allows you to appear extremely open and fun
Yeah.
and light
Yeah.
and positive and whatever, while hiding a lot of yourself from others. And
Yeah.
even from a young age, you are kind of ignoring, suppressing, and hiding. This is what something you wrote was, you hid things to keep from bothering others.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
um
Because as a nine, you don't want anything that you bring to, maybe it's triple positive too, to upset the apple cart, to bother someone, to, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's like you're just so aware of, and maybe a nine without SO, like an SO blind nine might not feel that.
yeah,
And um if I had type structures that allowed me to think that pain is good, or that, like, you know what I mean, like I've had to learn that, like, going after hard things, I've had to like harness three, you know, like the nine line to three, to 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 do things, just because of the, like, seven doesn't want you to be sad, two doesn't want you to be sad, nine doesn't want you to be sad, you know, and anyone to be that way. So it's a lot of thinking about other people,
yes.
even without six or one.
Plus what I was thinking is, um I've been thinking a lot about nine wing eight recently, just because um there's something about, let's see, the juxtaposition of attachment and rejection in any sensor is interesting to me. So that's nine wing eight, three wing two, six wing five. But with nine wing eight, it's like I want to be open and receptive to the holding that's available in my environment. But when something kind of gets in that makes me wince, if you have a one wing, you fuss about that, you actually experience that wince
Yes.
and you go fix it. But with an eight wing, you just cut
Cut
off
it
the
off.
sensation of it, and so you
Hmm.
erect that inner wall. And
Yeah.
because you have double eight, you have nine wing
Yeah.
eight and also seven wing eight.
Yeah.
I mean, something you just said there, it's like you learned early that if you present with force, or that you're not going to be fucked with, that people
Yes.
won't fuck with you. That's eight. That's
Hmm.
eight somatic
It's eight all
intelligence
day,
right there.
baby. Hmm.
Yeah. And so
I can feel eight on people. It's so weird. Before I even knew the language of the Enneagram, I could feel, okay, you know that, like, TikTok of, like, I smell bitch. Like, I can tell when someone is missing eight. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Okay.
oh, I can smell there's something here that's not 8. Like, well, I didn't know that's what it was. But like I'd get around like one of my friend's husbands was
Uh-huh.
just so stereotypical 8, and I loved him because I was like, oh, I get you, I get you. You're mad because this isn't done. Cool, it's done. What's next? Like, oh, you don't want me to talk? Like, I have some assertive fixes around me. My stepdad's a 3, my mom is a 7. So
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
there's not a ton of 8, but it's like I don't know. I'm very comfortable around 8s. 8s feel so comfortable, but also it's because I can meld myself to them. So I don't know
Hmm.
if a prolonged 8, like because they can obviously they get whatever they want most of the time. So like I feel like in maybe like a romantic relationship, an 8 would probably just dominate the hell out of me most of the time, possibly.
Have you ever dated an 8?
No, no. My
Okay.
ex-husband
Okay.
was a 6'7", and he's like 6'9", 4". Like he's super whiny tears, and also
Okay. Okay.
like he struggles with attachment and narcissism and stuff. And then
Okay.
my partner that I was after I got divorced, I was with a partner who was 7 and very SO blind and super toxic. The devil, you could call him. And I'm with a 9 right now. It's a 9-on-9 relationship, so it's super
Interesting.
chill. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, there's good and bad with that, right? Like, because two
Uh-huh.
people of the
Uh-huh.
same, and then because I have such a huge understanding of 9, I'm like, oh, of course you're doing that. Oh, of course I'm thinking this. Oh, of course we both completely walk away because we never want to argue. Like it's
Yeah.
there's that.
Um, can we go in the direction of your divorce and just the
Oh,
whole
for sure.
just
Yes.
the whole
Hmm.
circumstances that led up to that, and just can you just tell us about what that relationship was like, and then yeah,
Oh,
what
yeah.
just that's quite a story.
So, well, it's a good thing that we talked about trauma because
Hmm.
my relationship with my ex-husband was definitely um, came from that. So, well, not came from that, but I mean, it's evident in the fact that we have a 13-year age gap. I was 18 when I met him online. Online. We were okay, so this is crazy. Oh, I don't know if how deep you want to go into the
No,
lore.
all the way. Yeah,
Okay,
let's
so because
yeah.
like this is early internet days, right? I graduated in
Yeah.
'02, so this
Hmm.
was this '02? This no, I met him in '03 or '04. Okay, so I was young. I was 18. So I had to have been '02. Whatever. I'm old now, so I forget dates. But
And he was 31.
31. He's
Okay.
31. I had daddy issues. Oh, do I have daddy issues? Yeah. My preference was immediately older. Like from a teenager, and I'm sure it's trauma based. It's looking for the father who molested me. So like, there's just yeah. Like I was like 14 years old, obsessed with Brad Pitt in Seven, who was like wait, like 34 and a piece of
Hmm.
shit. That's my
Okay.
type.
Okay.
That's my type.
Can I
Okay.
just say, wait, before you go
Oh yeah.
into the story, I have to comment on your vibe as you're talking about this, because sometimes when they talk about their trauma, have a kind of slothful, lugubrious, this poor me happened to me thing, and with triple positive, it is just like it's like
Yeah.
fireworks going off as you're describing
Mhm.
these things that happen. And I'm sure there's been a lot of processing, of course, but
Yes. Yes.
at the same time, there's this just like fun soda pop kind of
Yeah.
energy about it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, because especially I'm if we were one on one and having like a super intimate conversation, I would
Hmm.
handle this differently. I am being
Okay.
social second. I am aware that there is an audience, and I don't know if that I'm sure part of it is that too, but it's also yeah, totally have dealt with. I mean, at 16 is when I like got wasted and told a friend that this had happened to me, and they told my mother. So I mean, I didn't deal with it at all. I didn't know I had it. I didn't know anything even fully happened. Well, I knew the things that happened afterwards, but the original incident that would have started the cycle of trauma, I didn't know it happened till I was 11 when it happened again, and then I realized that all these nightmares I was having weren't nightmares. They were memories, because all of
Whoa.
my,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, all of my, all of my, and then I'm smiling. I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
This is why I can watch like Melancholia by Lars von Trier and be like, it was good. I get it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But no, like, once I it was like from 11 to 16, I kept that completely hidden. I mean, that is nine wing eight, I would say, right?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
could you tell? Hell yeah, you could tell. I was piercing every part of my body, stretching my ears, I mean, I had every fucking hair color you could name. I was obsessed with Korn's first album, which is literally all about his trauma of being sexually abused. Like,
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
oh yeah. Like, I mean, it
Yeah.
was there, but I have a seven, probably damn near triple positive herself, or DJ, I'm not sure, mother who, like when I told her, and this is my type structure too, right? She's like, my mom is wonderful. So I want to clarify that. But like when I told her, like one of the first things she said was like, out of all my kids, I never would have thought you because of your behavior, because like you're so happy and bubbly and gregarious. You have all these friends. You can do all this stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
And my brothers are withdrawn, like when they were younger, at least, they just hide in their bedrooms and play video games all day. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
that the morose depression, that's evident, she just thought that it would be there, and my mother doesn't have trauma in her past like that. So when you're not someone who's experienced that yourself, you're not looking for those things in your children. I'm constantly monitoring everyone's kids for that. That's probably the 2 wing 3 as well. Like
There you
I'm
go.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, oh, you're switching everything about yourself. Oh, you're into this thing. Oh, you're, anything. Oh, your child starts bedwetting. For how long? When? Like
Hmm.
like, and I've raised my kids that way too. I try to be like not weird about it. They're pretty cool, but like, but like, I mean, I am hyper aware, and my ex-husband also um was a victim of multiple issues in his childhood too. So when we came into our marriage, we both that was one place where we clicked, was like protecting our kids. We
Okay.
totally got off the topic of my actual relationship. I'm
Well, I want
sorry.
to get. No, I want to get back there, but I want to just comment on this because this is your story and your whole thing. It makes me kind of double down on my opinion that um, we are not. Our type is not the result of what happens to us. Our type is the way we
Not
respond to
just
what happens
nurture.
to us.
There's, yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
That's right.
that
There's a
our
nature component to
brain,
type. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yes.
nurture has to do with, like, your environment obviously has to do with what level of health you stabilize at and the way that you express your type and your relationship. But um, how
Your
healthy or fixated you end up.
resiliency level, I feel like,
Yeah,
is probably type based.
yeah.
Like nines are
Um,
fragile. That nines can be so fragile, and resiliency can be hard. And
yeah.
I don't think that some types struggle at all with that.
Do
Like
you
they're just
do you,
like,
do
oh,
you,
this shit happened. Like,
yeah. Do you see yourself as resilient or no?
okay, so I see myself as less resilient than other people see me, right? So,
Mm,
and maybe it's because of the like joie de vivre, whatever type of way I just kind of see things, is
mm-hmm.
it's like I tell them things, right? And this is normal for people with trauma too, where it's like, and they'll just be like horrified or like, wow, you're really incredible. Like I did not want to be in a hospital system for my last two births. I had my babies at home. One of them I had alone, which was me, my husband, and my mom. And it's just like people are like,
Whoa.
"This is incredible," and it's like this is what I knew in my fucking soul I wanted to do, and I did it. I don't, like I don't know. I don't know, but I think I'm fragile and breakable. And I think that sometimes I am holding on by like a little edge of sanity. Even though I've never actually experienced like a psychotic, like I've never had that happen, but like the feeling of I've explained it to a therapist, like if I am like overly emotional or overly hormonal at, times, it will feel like my I guess I mean you'd say brain, but I mean to me I think of myself because I think it's gut. Like I think of myself as a soul, not just like, I don't think of myself. My brain is sometimes my enemy, but like the core of my being, right? That's like I'm like that's why when people are like, "Oh, you could be a gut type." I was like, "I'm a gut type." I don't know what the fuck gut type is. I'm a gut type though because
Mm-hmm.
that is where I mean that's where I feel whatever, but like it'll feel like I'm fine china or crystal, where it's like if you put a hand on me, everything's gonna spider crack and just fall, and there will be this loss of self that I how do I find myself and bring it back together again, right? Like that's how I see myself. Other people do not see me that way most of the time, I would say.
That's amazing to hear you say that because that's, I mean, it's certainly not how I'm seeing you. But it's interesting,
Thank
like this
you.
inner sense of fragility
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
Like it I
Okay.
try
Yeah.
to push. I tr- like I've learned that it's like sometimes I maybe withdrawing is the right thing, but like I try to push now into those things because like I've learned. I used to my ex-husband, specifically the movie Precious, which obviously is a very fucked up movie about horrific trauma done by parents, and he was like, why are you watching that movie? It's just gonna like destroy you. And it was like I couldn't explain to him why I had to watch it and why I literally walked around my house for like 7 days, just like disassociated, mentally destroyed from that movie, but that I needed to. It was years later, probably 6 or 7 years later, when I was at that time I was taking antidepressants, mild ones, Wellbutrin. It's like I get seasonal affective disorder, and I realized that I could handle some of those movies, and that if I could handle them, I actually could almost use them as therapy. Like I could almost, like I could access those parts of myself that are really devastated. You're devastated by the fact that someone who's supposed to love you more than anything and supposed to protect you, um, sees you as nothing than an object to be used and discarded. Like that's a very hard thing. Like that. I mean, I can. This is where like I can. Like I'm like if I get here, you're gonna get me. I will cry. Because it's like that is my core wound, like is like no, like like you are nothing. You're nothing to be, I don't know. But
But there's
I can now push into some of that stuff, and I see it as like a good thing if it's done in a careful way.
okay. There's something so powerful about what you're saying here, and I think it's body centered as well because you're carrying around this internal sense of fragility, like you're doing this super tight wire act, and you're this precious crystal, and just the right amount of pressure could crack the
Just
whole thing.
yeah, just done.
But um, historically, you have found yourself drawn to these things that were the cause of what broke you,
Oh yes,
and
yes, and I think it's
and
very
and
common for trauma survivors too.
absolutely it is, absolutely it is. And
Hmm.
actually, I have a little bit of my own version of this with like I'm sort of attracted to the scenes of, or like I like to go back to sometimes the classrooms where I know that I cheated, in academic work.
Three,
And I,
3 weeks
yeah, no, I'm
too.
serious. And
Love
I
it.
go
I
and
love it.
I sit and I kind of am there in the space where I abandoned myself. And there's something really healing. It's very hard for me to go back,
Yeah,
but there's
yeah,
something really powerful and healing about that for me.
yeah.
And there's
Do you
something,
feel guilt? Do you feel guilt about cheating? Is that the
oh,
six? Is that the little
I
bit of
had,
six there?
I had an
Because 3 and 9
unbelievable
doesn't give
amount
a
of,
shit.
oh yeah, it does. Well, three,
No,
I mean,
no.
three,
You're right. You're right.
yeah, yeah. But it's like, well, what I mean is like these days I have like a very, very intense relationship with integrity.
Yes,
And it's because of how far I abandoned myself earlier, and
yes.
so um and that's the whole part of,
So it's
three.
part of forgiveness for you in some ways, maybe.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
but this I think the overall point I'm making here is that it's like being drawn back to these moments that have been difficult, or like you watching that movie Precious.
Mhm.
there's something about, it feels to me like there's something about the body center testing its own strength. It's like, I think I'm strong enough
Okay.
for this now,
Yes. Yes. Can I
I
do
don't
it?
think this is gonna I don't think this is gonna break me. And there's something
It feels like winning when you
powerful.
can.
Yes, it feels like, okay, like
Yes.
I maybe I
I
was broken,
conquered
but this,
this.
but I conquered
Yeah.
this.
And it's not going to
I
beat
conquered
me.
this.
It's not going to beat me,
Yes,
you
it's
know?
not going to beat me anymore. Yeah,
Well, especially
that's a.
because for like I'm pretty super ego less, and like if
Mm-hmm,
the majority of my trifix, um, so like I don't have like the three I have is like my last little wing. I have no
mm-hmm,
desire like to win. Like okay, I'm 5'10", and I went to a private Christian school, so they were just like you have to play volleyball, and like I was good
okay,
at it because I'm
okay,
5'10",
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um, the second like I got two very three fixed, very aggressive girls who wanted to win. I quit. I was just like, oh my God, dude, this is like, you are making this not fun. Or like Monopoly. I don't think I've ever finished a game of Monopoly. I don't care. Like I've never cared about winning or being competitive in that way. But like what you're describing, that is, it's personal. SP Dom too, probably. Like it's like this is my conquering. Like I had a conversation with
mm-hmm,
someone that was difficult for me, and I put boundaries down. Like I am winning at life at this point. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because there's a lot of self hatred involved in not. Though you just had, was it Kim? She was 8. She's an
Mm-hmm.
8. And it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, oh, hearing her say that, because it's like my perception of eights is like not like that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I just don't. I've never met a female eight that I've gotten close with, at least. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
but it was just like really great to hear her say that, because I'm like, okay, I have a double 8 wing, so 8 and me get along,
What
and
was the
I
thing she was
understand.
saying?
Well, she said something about like not like I don't know if it was self hatred, but it was something along like that she beats herself up, right? And something.
Oh, the self judgment that she has around, like,
Yes.
I let you in. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Oh
kind of thing.
gosh. Oh my
Yeah, yeah.
God. Yes. Because like,
Mm-hmm,
dude, if there's something about there's so much pride for me, like in different things. And with 9, so much of my pride is like, you won't affect me, or like I can give you all of this, but like this 10% that's held back, like you'll never see that ever. You'll never win. You know, it's so I would say I'm almost arrogant sometimes in my emotional control, and yet I'm super not emotionally controlled. But in the things that I don't want people to see, I'm extremely controlled about that.
okay, there you go. That's a really interesting piece right there too. And I think there's a triple positive um angle into this topic here, because there is so much, you could say, fun. I'm going to use the word froth. It's like
Hmm.
there's like a frothy, like fun, sparky fireworks kind of energy that you can display.
Hmm.
Um, and that is in some ways um, a smoke and mirror show that
Yeah.
conceals
Yeah.
these private inner chambers where the real fragility is.
Did you ever see Sopranos?
You know, I've watched the first episode, and I'm like one of a very, very small number of people that couldn't quite get into it, but I'll give it
Oh
another
man,
shot at some point.
it's
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah.
But either way, he talks about being the sad clown, and I was like, oh
Okay.
man,
Yeah.
I get you, Tony. Like I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am very aware when people
Sad
want me
clown.
to be
That's a good,
on for them, and
that's
they want
good.
me to be. Yeah, I would imagine that. I don't
Yeah.
know if seven, maybe more 9s with 7 fixes think that than 7s, because
Hmm.
you would think that the sad clown would almost be a 7-ish type
Yeah.
deal.
No, I
But
think I see that in 7 too in a lot of ways, but
well, I
yeah.
mean, the
Uh-huh.
constant chase, that's one thing I will say. Like with my mom being a 7, it's like, no, she will exhaust herself, like pursuing any, anything but actually living in a present moment. Anything.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Anything. So I don't know. I don't know if she ever feels sadness. She won't let herself get there.
So, okay, I'm tracking one thread though. So we have this body centered theme of testing and proving my own strength myself through setting boundaries, through going back to the scene of where I have been broken and seeing if
Mm-hmm.
if I can handle it now, and
Yes.
that being a win, a private kind of inner conquering of something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just kind of period full stop. I think that's a really powerful, I don't know, testimony to the like the journey of the body center, maybe, or
Yeah.
a body center sensibility around knowing and appreciating my own capacity to handle the world. I can handle
Yeah.
whatever the world throws at me. I'm not going to be
Yeah.
broken by this thing. And there's a
Yeah.
paradox of like holding that inner sense of fragility, and at the same time bringing yourself to watch that movie, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of, yeah, there's just something like cool about that. Like, I'm gonna do this.
Good.
I'm gonna watch this movie. Yes, I'm gonna dissociate for 7 days, but at the
Yes.
same time, like, I
Like, if
need to
anyone
do this
else
for myself
decides
to
to
know
do
that I have
this,
this. Yeah,
oh yeah, but like it'll do it less and less. You know what I mean? Like
there you go. That's right. That's
you
right.
will
Yeah,
harden in a positive way, right? Because I mean,
yeah,
sometimes hardening is deadening, and I guess
yeah.
in some ways it is. But you're teaching your brain that those traumatic things are not
Hmm.
there anymore, and that
Right.
you are an autonomous human being. You have control. You have will. Like and so you don't disassociate, like the first time you might disassociate for 7 days, but like
Yeah.
then, like you'll be able to, well, and then also like, I mean, I try to not like torture porn myself, right? Like
Hmm.
I can overdo that and
Yeah. Yeah.
basically want to feel shitty and just choose to put on this thing and just kind of like roll around in the sad, in the
Yeah.
depression. So there,
Hmm.
like that's the drawback of the balance, I guess, of doing something
Right.
like that is what's your motivation, I guess. But some
Right.
of it
Right.
is
Right.
just natural. Like, like you said, like a lot of people, if they're processing their feelings, might choose to do those things. Like you even see, I know that this is, but like it's really common for women with trauma to have rape fantasies, and then they feel
Hmm.
extremely like judged for
Hmm.
feeling that
Hmm.
way. And it's like,
Hmm.
it's completely normal. It's totally expected. You should not feel that way. That is something you're reclaiming, if in essence, or re-traumatizing, depending on where you're at. But it's like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do think that it can be really powerful.
Okay, I'm taking a breath.
Sorry,
So
sorry.
I want no, that's good. I want to hold on to this thread because I feel like the thread of the body center experiencing its own strength, and then go kind of take that thread back into your story of your relationship and then moving into your divorce.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 25-year-old me would have been pretty worse on this. I feel like
Uh-huh.
there was so many like with religion and the marriage that I was in, and those are together because when you're married and you're Christian, like the reason you get married is because of Christianity. Like they're together. Um, I was so delusional, number one, but I also I would have not even, if anyone would have said something that was going to infringe on my worldview, it would have been an immediate rejection. And it wouldn't have even been nasty because I'm not like, I will just flit away and you'll just never see me again. We'll never talk. Like, I don't say, I ghost. Like, I don't like, oh my God, let's sit down. I don't have a lot of frustration. Well, I mean, seven is frustration. There's tons of
Mhm.
frustration, but the wing of eight and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
having that, like, it is a much of like, no, we just never have to talk ever again.
It's more just dull
Bye.
cut off. Yeah, that's bye.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But so anyways,
Mhm.
so I will get back to, I'm gonna try to cut it like short-ish. So yes, so me and my ex-husband were both into a movie. I've always been a film kind of person, and it was the Boondock Saints, which was like a cult classic.
Love that movie.
So
Yeah.
it's great. So we were
Yeah.
on the original board of the Boondock Saints, where it was like, okay, so to be fair, I'm still like legitimately kick it online friends with all of those people from 20 years ago. Some of us have got married, had kids, like we were a very tight group. Troy, the director of Boondock Saints, was on there. Like, he interviewed for one of my friend's podcasts. He set up. We did a few. I didn't get to go to the Boston one, but the first one was in Boston. It was like a big meetup. This was 2004, 2003. It was 2003. Um, and then the second one was in Austin. Well, my ex-husband lived in Houston at the time, and like I had been talking to these guys for a year and a half. I had had to have knee surgery. I had torn my meniscus and I had to have knee surgery. And so I was stuck at home. I was never a person, I have ADHD, so I was never a person who watched a lot of media before that because my brain was moving too fast. I didn't give a shit. Or I read. Reading is not the same, but I didn't consume TV media really at all when I was younger. But I'm stuck there, can't move, surgeries, and I find this board. I find this group of people, and they're from all over. I've got friends from Australia, the Netherlands, Norway, and we're all like, we still kick it. Like it's not a lot, but it's a good vibe. But anyways, me and my ex started talking through there. I flew down to Austin. We met, and then I was in college at the time, blah 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 blah. We got Christian, so I was like, I prayed to God and I asked him to give me a sign, and fucking he called me the next day and asked me to marry him. That was a red flag, but I didn't know it. And I was like, oh my God, this is God's will, and got married. And then it was like, oh, does God want
Whoa.
me to
Okay.
wear? Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We
Okay.
were, yeah. I took a little bit longer than that, but like ultimately, so it was like we started dating in April. He moved here from Houston. Well, we I was living in Superior. I was going to UW Superior, but like Duluth, Minnesota, Superior, Wisconsin. It's way the f up there. Um, he moved here. Yeah, it was a lot. Then we moved to Houston. He was a cop down there. But yeah, there's a huge age gap, 18, 31. I to be fair, I do say this because I just feel like it'd be shitty not to. I did not tell him I was 18, okay? I told him I was
Okay.
25. I told him I was
Oh, okay.
25 because I was an adult, so
Wait, well,
I was
yeah,
an
but
adult, so
also
I didn't feel
there,
guilt.
yeah, but there's some 7 to 8 stuff right there. That's just like
Yeah, I wanted to be grown, motherfucker, and I
the
wanted to
self
just
permission. Like Six Fix
would
probably doesn't
never,
say
would
I'm
never.
25 if I'm 18. Yeah,
Well, he
because
made
it's
this
like terrified
comment
of
that
being
his
caught in a lie or something. Yeah.
last girlfriend was 24 and that he'd never date anyone younger than that. And I was like, I happen to be 25. I felt really guilty afterwards. And within, like, I'd say a month of us talking, I was like, I have to talk to you. And he was just like, okay. Because this was long distance at the time. And this was like new. Like, this was like, you're going to get killed long distance type shit. Because this was
So,
2000.
and I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
just I don't know if I'll keep this in, but just for my own clarity,
Yes.
he asked you to marry him without meeting. Is
Oh
that
no no
how?
no. We had no no
So,
no. We had met. We had yeah no no.
so
We had
he
met
okay.
twice. Yeah, but I
Okay,
mean
okay,
like
okay, okay, okay,
this is
okay.
why it's like you're such a stupid 18-year-old girl. You know, it's like I he had he had broken up with me. We had met. We had like I had flown there twice and he had flown here once.
Hmm.
And had spent time together, and we'd been talking for about, I'd say 9. It was under a year when he asked me to marry him. Um, he had broken up with me because he was just like, basically like, you've got so much going on in your life, you're young, you should, what I mean? Like we should be apart. And didn't talk to me for
Hmm.
like a month or 6 weeks,
Hmm.
which I was like
Hmm.
dying in agony because I was so obsessively, psychotically, codependently, unhinged in love with a lie, but still. Uh, so then it was like, I'm dying inside. I'm praying to God every single night because I'm like, just take away how I feel. Like, why? Well, like, if we're not going to be together, like, why can't I just get over this? Like we're done. And it was like, there's a story in the Bible about Gideon. Do you know the story of Gideon?
I don't.
Okay, so if you guys ever want like the good version of it, there's a VeggieTales of Gideon. And so you can watch the VeggieTales version, which is way better than the Bible. But
Okay.
the story of Gideon is he's too afraid. God is like, go fight this battle. And he's like, I'm scared. And God's
Hmm.
like, it's all right to be scared. And I love this story. It's my favorite story in the Bible. And I don't even believe in whatever. Okay. So he's like, I'm gonna give you proof so that way you don't gotta be scared. So like you're gonna go and you're gonna put out this thing and it's lamb's wool. So basically there's not gonna be any dew on the lamb's wool, but there's gonna be dew all around. And you're gonna know that I want you to do this and that you're going to win. So he does it, and God does that. And he's like, God, I'm still scared. And he's like, okay, I'm going to let you have another one. It's okay to be afraid. Like, I'm going to show you again that like, this is what you're supposed to do. And he's like, you're going to put it out there. He goes, tomorrow, the lambskin will be it'll be drenched with water, but the whole ground will be dry. And that happened. Gideon went, murdered and slaughtered everybody, because that's what the Bible in the beginning is about. And God was super happy for all the murder. And so when I was praying, I was like, God, like, if this is meant to be, like, I need proof. I need to be like Gideon. You need to give me this sign. Like, that's why I say, like, 972 is delusional, especially if you're raised in a culture where, like, all this, anything can have meaning and anything can this. It's like, yeah, you could fucking destroy your life if you follow all these things. So he called me the next day, and he was just like, I can't stand to be without you. Like, I want you to be my wife. Will you marry? And I was just like, oh my God, yeah, dude. That's why, like, that's why I say my marriage and religion ending together. They started together, and they had to end together.
That's incredible. And so how long are you married?
13 and a half years.
Okay. See, but that's quite a long time. Yeah. Okay. 4 children. Yeah.
4 children.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So your marriage began based on this
religion,
the fulfillment of what you felt like
love and loneliness. I'd say love and loneliness. Like
yeah.
Truly on both sides. Probably I'd say.
So, what happened?
Well, it happened immediately. The moment I was married, the person who I was married to was like a different person. I mean, you wait for, you're thinking, like, oh, marriage, the responsibility, that just changed him. Like, he's gonna find that funny, caring, loving guy again. Like, no. The funny, loving, caring guy was the trap to think, to find someone who could even handle to live with this, you know what I mean? And then it's like, it's all going to fade away. So no, it was like instantaneous. I'm a super happy-go-lucky person. And like, when I met him, he had a large friend group and was very outgoing. He was hilarious. He told just super funny jokes. I mean, it was just like night and day. He was mute. It was no speaking, it was just, other than because he's a 6, it's like he would like trap me in like conversations, not like physically. It'd be like, I want to talk about this. I have anxiety about it. So I have to talk about it 75 more times. You have to fully engage and be present with me while talking about this bullshit. And I'd be like, I can't. It's the same. We're saying the same words over and over and over. Why the fuck do we have, you already made your decision or you didn't. I don't give a fuck at this point. I don't care. Why do we have to it was like torture. Like torture. It was so bad. Just a very deeply insecure person. He was a police officer, so that job is not a good job for someone who is extremely fearful and who is deeply insecure. I think that probably, I think my ex-husband at his heart, is someone who wants to be of use. And, he would have been much better if he would have went into like EMT. Actually, right now, what he does for a living is he's, like a 911 operator person for a private ambulance service up where we live here, near Milwaukee. I think that's, sorry.
You're, I would say, I guess what I'm getting from the story is kind of your frustration with that pattern of being trapped in those 75 repeated conversations.
Oh
but
God, that was hard.
Stayed. But you continue.
I stayed because marriage is forever.
Yeah.
Like God,
right.
What God has put together, no man can tear asunder. That's why. Also, I didn't just stay for that. I stayed because I loved him. Like I love like deeply and intensely. I wouldn't like, his whole thing with being a 6 was a loyalty. He saw my 9 behavior as disloyal because I wouldn't immediately come to his side. So his arguments all the time were that I was disloyal to him. And it was like, I want you to be the best version of yourself. You're telling me about a situation where you had a negative social interaction, and I'm telling you how this person, and this is before Enneagram, it's just because of who I am, and I've always been obsessed with psychology and psychoanalytics. But I'm telling you, these are the three reasons why they might have said this. And these are a couple things that you could have said. I fully support you. I was like, no, you're a fucking liar. You don't. If you did, you would have backed me. You never would say that about me. You would never do this. And it was just like, dude,
I see. Yeah.
and I told him when I got divorced, I was like, you don't like me. You like all of the things I do. You like our life. You like our children and our marriage and all of these things. But at the core, all the things that everybody else loves about me, that I bring to the table, that I get told consistently. I get told. That's why it's like I don't have the 9 thing of not I get told you're really great. You're really fun. You're really, you know what I mean? So it's like, how can everyone else say these things? And I'm in a marriage with someone who fucking despises my literal life. I didn't realize it was part of him was just deep jealousy and projection. I didn't know, now I know that. I was like, okay, I'm in a marriage with someone, but I can't leave because religion doesn't allow that. And honestly, I'm terribly afraid. I'm a stay-at-home mom to my kids. I do not want them to have to leave my side ever because that allows other people to harm them. So I don't really want to leave a marriage because I don't want my children to have their lives changed. Even though there were a lot of negatives. Financially, he was a mess. He was extremely verbally and emotionally abusive, but he also never was there. He had an incredibly psychotic work ethic, which meant that he was gone all the time, working 12-hour shifts and stuff. So it was like, okay, he's a piece of shit sometimes, but he's not there, and I can take care of my children, SP-DOM to fix. It's like you can literally roadmap it in people's lives if you're looking for it, because it's like their type tells you who they are and how they're going to behave in some ways, But yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that because I told you our marriage ended when he wanted to transition into becoming a woman, which he has not chosen to do. But that was the end. And it was I feel like whenever you caveat things, be like, I love gay people, I love trans people, it's like bull fucking shit. But I really do. So the catalyst for him coming out was my friend's kid, who was my babysitter at the time, had came out to me privately. And I think me supporting that child who I fucking adore, and he's super happy and has a great life, and things are way good with his family now, which is awesome because it would have been bad, if it wasn't, it would have sucked. But that was the entrance point for him, I think. So I'd spent my whole marriage being and I would tell my best friend this, I'd be like, it's almost like he's jealous of me. It would feel that way, but it's that's crazy. Why would a heterosexual man be jealous of a heterosexual woman? Of what? You have her. You have all of her. She made you fucking children. What could you be, what could you be jealous of? But it felt like, yeah, oh, I look really cute. He's gonna shit on me. I look, it's just, and so then it was it took him a couple months to fully come out, but from January to April of 2016, that was him being I'm bi. And I was like, did you cheat on me? And he was like, no. I'm like, well, then I don't give a shit if you're bi. That's fine. You do you, unless the talk would be opening up our marriage, or or seeing someone other than that, him being bisexual didn't change the way I felt about him. So then it was it was his tippy toes. He was tippy toeing around it, so
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. By April, it was, I want to live as a woman. I want the surgery. I want everything. And I was devastated. And then I was so how does this work? And he's just what do you mean? And I'm I'm hetero. I'm not attracted to women. So like, what are we going to do? And I am a very much live your truth kind of person. And
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to control people, like at all. That's why I knew that there had to be like an absence of six in me and like, or like even one, because it's like, it's even hard for me to discipline like children. I don't really do discipline. I do more like discourse and then exchange. Like, like I don't love anytime I have to infringe on someone or, anything like that. Like it's really the antithesis of who I am. I hate it.
Okay. let me
I'm sorry.
just hold on.
Lots of
Hold on one
smiles.
second. Just hold on. All right. Hold on one second. Okay. So, all right. Okay. So, yeah.
I'm
Okay. So we have
sorry.
this. No, it's okay. It's okay. I have to say one thing. It's as a body type with sort of the double 8 wing thing plus 7, there's just this like, it's like you can kind of like get on a train track, like, and just like barrel forward. And one of the things I was wondering about is, actually, let me think about how to say this here.
Emeka said something like that too. Like he was talking about a 9 wing 8
Uh-huh.
versus an 8. And he
Uh-huh.
said that like, because I think it was Megan the Stallion who did it, but I noticed that I did it too in my interview. That we talk about, we have to put on the bad bitch energy. Like it's like, oh yeah, if you
Yeah,
push
yeah,
me,
yeah.
I'll gear up to this. And it's like
That's right.
I
That's
do
right.
that. I was like, oh yeah, no, I totally get that. It's there, but that's not the core of our being. It's to the side. You have to poke at
Mm-hmm.
that to get that. You'll unleash it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
Right.
hot lava,
Right.
everyone's getting sprayed, but
But also, I'm
sorry.
trying to track. And that was a good example of it too. Like I'm trying to track the underlying. I'm actually trying to find where you are in the story, because I'm hearing. I obviously there's a lot about your husband, and I know that it was like a
Hiding.
lot of.
Hiding.
Let's see.
Probably. My focus was, I'd say mostly on my kids. That, like most of, yeah, like, and not in a, for me, not in a negative way. It was positive. Like, it's the one thing I mourn about getting a divorce, even though I know it's the right thing. Talk to my kids, and they've, like, because we've had discourses about this, like, how do you feel 5 years out? Like, do you still, how are you? And,
Mm-hmm.
and, like my kids are like, no, like this was the right decision. It's like, okay, I just,
Yeah.
I made this decision for all of us. And that's unfortunate that you guys were not at the age to where you could, fully. And so it's like, that's why I check in. I remember my ex, probably 4 or 5 months after my first son was born, he was like, what do you want to do? He's like, I'll support you. He's like, if you want to go back to school, if you, what do you want to do? Because we had originally talked about staying home. And I was like, I think at that time, we were younger and he was probably still more in love with me. So he was nicer then. And so it was like, he's like, I want you to have choice in what you do. And I was just like, I love this child and I don't want to ever leave him and I don't want to do anything. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, like, I can't, I don't want to leave him for 5 seconds. It was unhealthy, obsessive, psychotic love because of the fear that someone could harm him. It was like,
Oh, that was what I was gonna say,
oh,
because my
yes.
initial reaction to that was like, that sounds like a normal mom.
And I
You
thought
know.
it was normal till I had my second one and it broke when I had to
Okay.
split it. And then I got
Uh-huh.
much healthier. It was,
Okay.
I was,
So
I was
you were afraid
overly attached.
something would happen. You were afraid something would happen to the baby, and
Yeah.
that's why you were. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because there's so much involved, right? So I was having a boy. The idea of even changing a boy's diaper was terrifying to me because what if that memory makes him think he was traumatized? Like, bro, it goes deep when you've got that stuff. So it was just, like,
Okay.
I was
All right.
terrified.
This is a lot's coming together for me. I was kind of, I was sort of lost there for a second, but
It takes
know
a
it's
while.
all really. It's okay.
Well, and it's also you don't
I'm
know
finding
me, so
it
I'm
again.
not setting up the story well.
Okay. What? Let me just share some impressions with you. So
Okay,
as
okay,
you were
okay.
talking, as you're talking and sharing your story about your ex-husband, um, a couple of impressions. So first of all, I mean, it sounds like it was a very difficult marriage for a very long time.
Yeah.
And and relationships
It was
can be
mostly
hard,
bad. It was mostly bad.
but it sounds like it was rough. Yeah. And so just I'm pointing out first of all the 9 endurance for a
Yeah.
difficult
We don't
situation.
leave.
It's like the not leaving the high.
It's bad.
And also, I'm wondering if there was anything. You didn't explicitly say this, but I'm wondering if there's anything too fixed in there of just like continuing to go out to him and I don't know, just being like 9-2 energy as a stem, I guess, is sort of like merged, but also penetrating, like involved love.
I mean, he was so I don't even know. Like his intensity of needs were ever present to
Mm-hmm.
where I withdrew from him a lot, a lot. When I feel like anyone who's been married for a long time that gets divorced, if they're honest with themselves, will tell you that the moment they get divorced, the hindsight is so evident of the parts you played too. It doesn't take away the
Uh
fact
huh.
that he was much more abusive, to me. Not physically, I
Sure.
should say this. Like he was not physically abusive. I mean, he wasn't sexually
Yeah.
abusive. He was emotionally manipulative and verbally abusive. Horribly
Sure. And
so.
also, he was 13 years older than you, and you were very young,
Very,
when you
yeah,
met him, and
very
so that's
controlling.
real. You're
Yeah,
still in your formative years.
yeah.
But I
And
think
that's the thing.
so.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, you
Well,
continue.
no. This is what I want to. Let me share a couple other impressions, and then I want to ask you kind of what your lessons were about yourself.
Hmm.
And okay, so other impressions are I'm fascinated by this protective instinct you have over the baby, and that's bringing in resonance from your own trauma and kind of
I'm protective
there's
of
the sense
children
of
in general too. It's not just baby. It's not just my own babies. It's
yeah.
all children. I will
Well, you
cat, and
have
that's
that
probably two-ish.
9 wing 8 plus 2 like mama bear energy
Hmm.
plus um just resonance with your own. I guess let me think about how to put this. It's kind of like nines having experienced some pain projecting it out into the whole collective, and it's like um
Oh,
I don't know how to say it. It's
that's good.
yeah, it feels like oh my god, I can't let
Everyone.
this same pain the everyone I yeah the
Oh,
everyone is
I totally
experiencing this
do that.
pain.
I totally do that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. and
yeah.
and with the 2, it's like I don't know, a 9 kind of core. I'm projecting that everyone is like merged in the same kind of experience, you could say.
Well, you're
Or
constantly merging.
is
You're constantly
yeah,
merging.
yeah. But then 2 is like this penetrating, going out to kids, kids that you want to be protective of, and
Yeah.
you have, I think, in your life, it sounds like you have people that often come to you with their secrets.
Hmm.
Okay, so my theory is that what's going on with one of the things that's going on with 2 is that it's like as a young person, um, I didn't get the attunement that I wanted, and that was so utterly painful. And actually, not just that I didn't get the attunement I wanted, but like maybe even if I was hurt, that's like being hurt is that only happens when someone is not paying attention to you in a way that's loving and positive.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
um, especially if you're traumatized, if you're deliberately traumatized. But so 2 cuts itself off from external gaze and then basically says, all right, I'm not going to let this happen to me anymore. But and it kind of suppresses its need, you could say, for being positively attuned to by others, and it resolves to attune to other people. But what I think it's doing is it's projecting its own need for the kind of attention that it wished it got onto everyone else, and
Yes.
then assuming that need is there in them, and
Yes.
then going out and fulfilling that specific need in them. And so there's this
Hmm.
kind of roundabout projection thing going on. And that, I feel, as a whole psychological structure is relevant, I think, to the way that you interact with sort of children in general, just kids, your protectiveness over
Yes.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also both of the female, well, my grandma, who helped raise me with my mother, is extremely two-faced. I think she's a 9 and 6 first, but she's
Okay.
also very two-faced. And honestly,
Hmm.
you see a lot of women in Christian circles that are two-faced. It's a very highly praised way to be for a Christian female. Um,
Hmm.
and I think because that too over, like, not being aware and overdoing it thing was something that annoyed me in my life. I really rejected the idea that I had a two fix. I really didn't want to see it because it was like,
Hmm.
I hate the smothering and the, you know what I mean? Like, as a 9 and wing 8, I am so quick to try to get consent or make sure it's something that's actually wanted because of the
Hmm.
awareness that I can do that, and because it was done to me to where it was just like, ugh. But it became, I was blind to the fact, it's like, it's so obvious that I have a two fix. Like, to
Yeah.
my kids are very
Yeah.
versed in the Enneagram language because of living with me, and they got into
Hmm.
it too. Like, I think at least my first three have all read John's book. Like they're,
Whoa. Okay.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, because I mean they're 20, 18, and almost 16. So, and
Okay. Yeah.
this has been like the microcosm inside of our home. Like, my 11-year-old, like, we were watching a show, my other two and she was in the kitchen, which is right here. And
Hmm.
I was like, I was like, oh, this dude's like 6 all day. And then my daughter's like, three fix, and I was like, I think so. And my daughter in the other room is like, oh my God, they're doing the Enneagram thing again. I'm like, this is the language I live in. I don't know how to explain something without using it. Like, well,
I know it really infects you. Yeah, it
it
does.
does. It's,
Yeah.
and for me, I found Enneagram as I was leaving that marriage and religion. It
I
was,
was just going to ask you that. So yeah. So okay, let's get back on that
okay.
on that train of thought because well actually okay let me say one more impression I had
Yeah,
was
yeah.
this it feels like your energy is so much bigger than I think you experience is in yourself internally because I'm so struck by
Yes.
your your sense of yourself as fragile, and also anytime there's been anything with technology, you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry.
Oh
It's
yeah,
you're so
instantly.
quick to
It's
like
ridiculous.
retract and be like, oh my God, I hope I hope I didn't
Yeah.
do anything. There
Please
is
tell me
that.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Please. For the
Please
love
tell
of
me
God.
I didn't disrupt you. I didn't want to make any ripples here. I'm so sorry. But at the
Yes.
same time, you're like barreling forward with so much force and
Force.
energy, and also you have so much associative freedom in your mind that it's like you can go in these conversational swirls and eddies and then come back to the thread, and sometimes you lose the thread, and sometimes you hang out over here for a while, and then and it's like
All my best friends have
there's just so
ADHD.
much.
We all have this.
Yeah, there you go.
All
Yeah,
of my
yeah.
close people, they can
It's just
they
so
can
funny
track
because
with
you're
me
yeah, yeah.
because it's too much for some people.
um
Like, a 613 is not having a great time in this conversation, maybe.
well, let's see. It's
I don't
how
know.
to put
Maybe
this.
they'd love it.
I'm really I'm struck by the, well, actually even that what you just said, the too muchness is like there is like 7 and 8, that whole area in the Enneagram
Mhm.
is that's the too muchness. And
Yeah,
also too, you could say it's
yeah.
like too muchness.
It breaks my
Um
heart when I
so
hear people
you
oh, sorry, go ahead.
well you have all that too muchness sort of as a sensibility or an energy that's floating around your but it's
Yeah.
packaged in a 9 core. And
Mhm.
so there's like uh, what's the right word? Not a shame, a reticence about being too much, a wanting to make sure it's like, yeah, this is you're about to get a lot of energy, but I want to make sure it's
You're
okay.
told your whole life. You're told your whole life that you're
Yeah,
too much. Okay, so like I watched
yeah,
RuPaul's Drag Race, and Bob the drag queen is, if he's not a 7 wing 8, he's an 8 wing 7. And in one of the critiques, they're like, you're showboating and you're too much and you need to calm down. And I watched his little eyes break. And now he's a 7 or an 8, so part of him doesn't care, because fuck you. But like at the same time, I was like, I know, because I hate being told that, and I'm told that, yeah, especially it's like once you get close to me, it's like, oh, if we're just friends and we're just kicking it or whatever, and it's like, then it's like you love this, you fucking love it, you want it all the time. But then it's like, oh well, if it's every day constantly, then it's too much and it's too much. And so it's like I am one of the few nines who will probably say, I've been told my whole life, calm it down, too much, you're so loud, can you stop, can you, and so it's like, oh, when I hear someone say that to someone else, I'm like, oh, it just breaks me, because it's like that's such a deep wound for me. That is such a deep wound for me. And I don't,
Yeah.
you're not too much for other people. You're too much for that one fucking person. Like you will, at least I hope, you'll find the people who actually see the value of all of that energy of like for me, it's excitedness, typically is it's like, oh, okay, you're
Yeah.
going to kill my vibe. You just killed my fucking vibe because what? Because I'm a little loud for you. Because I'm a little loud. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's also just like maybe another way to frame it is that in the body center, it's all about I want to just be as vibrantly alive and express all of my life force however is congruent to my life force at the moment. So if I'm lit up with something, I want to just express it. I don't want to be impeded or influenced or constrained.
Mm-hmm.
When I want to rest, I want to rest. When I want to like be big, then I want to be big.
Nines are hypocritical too. Because if someone else is too much for me, then I'm like,
yeah, there you go.
So then it's like, that's bullshit. That's like you, okay, so when you're up, it's fine. Yeah. But then if you're down and someone's trying to cheer you up, I'm immediately 8-wall. I'm like, why are you trying to control how I am? Like how I am isn't affecting you. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's bullshit. That's totally like, it's like I'm literally doing the same thing, because nines do need that buffer inside it, internally and externally. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Having an attachment and then 2 hexads that are opposite hexads feels like a lot. It feels like I feel like I'm at war inside myself with the different things. Like I feel, and I'm probably wrong, but I feel like it's easier to be a Bermuda in this life. But at the same time, it probably isn't, because you guys probably have so much internally that I don't know, because I don't know what it's like to be, but I just feel like Bermuda looks like it'd be easier. Like I just swim through this through this world, and I wouldn't forget everything, and I wouldn't space out, and I wouldn't accidentally use toxic positivity to like not fully be present with someone. Like those are things, like I don't know. I just feel like the trifecta is.
But although,
well, why is there so many of them? Maybe it's because they live longer and they're more successful. Like, I mean, maybe. Are you sure?
Okay. So, let's get back to how you discovered the Enneagram. So you were you got a divorce. Okay, and by the way, so that was a pretty significant breaking point for you, right? So your husband wanted to transition into becoming a woman.
It was death. That's what I would describe divorce as, is a death. It's the death of your family and the death of a relationship. It was a death on and you'll never, you will never recover. And a death of a whole belief system
as well with religion.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, but see, that came out slow, like the religion thing. Okay, because for me, okay, so 972, and maybe a DJ could probably do this as well, but like being raised in the religion there was a lot of rules, and some of those I adhered to, right? But like with the 9 and the 7, and because I'm super verbal and I'm super quick, I could get away with a lot in that system. Like I was allowed to really be myself. I would make jokes about smoking pot in church. Like I would just say salacious, naughty things because like they all knew me, and they all knew like, oh, she's just kidding. And it's like, oh, am I? Like, I'm not. But you know what I mean? Like, so for me, religion was personal. It was there's the religious entity that I'm raised in, and I want to rail against that system. I'm inside of that system, so I can constantly be like pointing out like things that are incongruous, or, finding, like ways to, because the crux of my religion was based on love. Jesus was love, and it's like there was rules, but I was kind of raised outside of them and where I was. So it was like I would tiptoe, whatever. So then with leaving it, it was very hard, because the religion I carved out for myself was a personal relationship with God, where I felt, because of the Holy Spirit, that like I could commune with him, like prayer and worship, like they would call like music is worship. The term is so gross now. Like now that I look at the term outside of it, like fucking worship. Oh, I would never, but I did, because that's what I was raised as. So it was like, I thought that I could keep parts of my spirituality, like it was a slower thing, where like with the divorce, it was like, it was a pretty much instant. Well, so like the moment he told me that he was a woman and wanted to live as a woman, it was like, I support you like fully, but like that also means that I'm not sexually attracted to you, and I can't sleep. Like our relationship will have to change. And that was just like absolutely not. So it was very much like he said the words, I'm trans, and it was like I felt like I audibly heard like a rubber band snap. And it was like this hold that this man had on my heart for the entire time, it was just gone. But then it was like the reality of like, I mean, it's like 2 or 3 months of just crying every single day, telling your kids you can't tell them why, but you will, which is just awful, because it's like I don't live my life where I don't hide things. So, or like I try to avoid hide. I do hide things, but in a lot of ways I don't, and in the like I don't. But like then it was like the realization that I don't know. I don't even know when love ended, like so much of that end of the relationship was the fact that even now, even to this day, we're still comfortable, right? And so it's the comfortability. Like that man watched me grow his 4 children, watched them come out of me, cleaned up the mess, like watched me breastfeed his 4 children for a year and a half. You know what I mean? Like there's so much of that it's like, that there's a comfortableness, like in the fact that there's just that much history.
Sure. Okay. I want to talk about, let me just read something that you wrote to me.
Okay.
So you said, you want to advocate well for your children when you're a 9, speaking up is hard.
Yeah.
It's harder for yourself, but wanting to wait and see if things will just magically work out is strong.
Yeah.
So again, that's a really core 9 thing.
Fantasy type.
That sort of fantasy type, positive outlook.
Yep.
Also that there is a passivity in 9, where it's like I default into a passivity where I just hope the environment will sort out problems will solve themselves.
The universe will take care of it.
Yes.
That's that positive fantasy.
Yeah. But anyway, but you said that something happened. So anyway, I'm curious actually if you have a response to that. Let me start there. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
Anything come to mind?
Well, yeah. I mean, I felt like multiple times in my parenting, I've looked at other mothers that are probably 6s, and because they're a reactive type, they will effortlessly, usually, and quickly, they'll just succinctly even just say like, oh, that is his, he doesn't want you to play with it, I'm so sorry, or and that seems so easy for them. Whereas it's like, for me to get to the point to go speak to another parent or speak to someone else's child that's not mine and correct them is it's almost impossible sometimes, And so then it's that betrayal of self and betrayal of ones I love, because I feel that they deserve that. And then I am not able to give that,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Who deserves it?
My children,
Your
or,
children?
yeah,
Yeah, your
yeah,
children. Yeah.
like it's like I can look at it and be like, oh, if I was another person, I could just, like, there was a situation where, and like this is also just like being a whiny baby nine too, I think, is it's like someone said something about something I believed in my parenting to be important, and they said something negative about it, and I was like, I don't want to be around this person. Like, I don't even want to go by them. I'm done, like that. We are not aligned. Move. And like my ex-husband, being a reactive type, was literally like looked at the person and was like, oh, that's silly. We do this. And I was just like, yeah, we do. That's what we do. And that's good for us. And it was literally so simple. I mean, so it's like, I mean, that is something like
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of instances where I can say, yeah, like it was looking at what they did. It was like, why couldn't I do that? And why didn't I think of doing that? Like,
So whereas your reflex was to retreat and cut off.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
His
instantly.
reflex was just to state, oh, well, this is what we do. And it's sort of like,
And
I don't know
laugh
how to
at
put
it.
this.
He literally
Yeah.
laughed at it. And so
Yeah,
that
but it's kind
was,
of like the lesson was that you are allowed, or it's possible to say, oh, this is what I do. It's different from what you do. But to stay in relationship with that difference this is, I don't know how to put it. It feels like a boundary thing, but I can't quite put my finger on it or something.
okay. I mean, the more I've learned about rejection, the more I've learned that I like, people ask questions like on Enneagram or board about like, how does a rejection type do this or do that, or like, how do they reject? And like, to me, it feels like it's like, it's not even a thought. You pre-reject, it's like, I have a very specific idea. Like, okay, parenting is the easiest for me because I was like a crunchy mom. I was probably what would be considered a trad wife now. Like in reality, like I home birthed, I did not vaccinate, and now we do. You know what I mean? Like those are things I changed. As I got smarter. Or nice. I mean, I just grew and I became more aware of where some of the information was coming from, and I made changes. I should say that. That's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more
Mm-hmm.
gracious on myself. Growth. Um,
Okay.
but like some of the choices are positive and great, and I'm happy with the things I've made. But like, there's tons of choices along the way where it was like, I I thought I was researching things and getting non-biased approaches and and measuring these things out and deciding, but there was so much rejection steeped in the thought process that it's like I really wasn't, like I
Were you seeing rejection in the thought process?
um not literally, not even hearing another side, like not hearing it. You know what I mean? It's like it'll be like years, like I've said that on the boards too. I'm like, years later I'll look back and I'll be like, that person was just coming at this from a different angle, and I
See.
I
I
was
see.
not
Yeah.
going, like, that is not, that was, I didn't care.
Yeah. But also, well, I want to come back to the parenting thing too,
Oh yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it feels to me like being a mom is a huge core part of your identity.
Uh-huh. It's
No.
it's the
And
so it's
the way
the core. I mean, like, I don't think you could.
Yeah, it's the okay, there you go. It's
Yeah,
the core part.
the crux.
Yeah.
Everything else is secondary.
So that's where I'm going with this, is that, someone makes a comment that feels like it's judgmental about your parenting. That's a dagger to the center of the heart.
Uh-huh.
And I mean heart in the Enneagram sense of, this is my identity. This is who I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
And you having a different opinion about how to parent is actually an attack on my personhood and my self-worth because of the way that I've constructed my identity as a mom.
Yeah.
I'm hearing, I don't know, there's something, okay, there's there's two fix about that. I was describing with the rejection of gaze and identity. And the wound, I would say, of someone else's gaze being sort of like getting inside. It's like a splinter. That's what I use that word for rejection types, where it's like something
Okay.
you didn't want to have affected you,
Yeah. Well,
Um,
and as a nine too,
uh-huh.
it's like I don't want anyone to ever think that they could emotionally touch me. Like
There you go. Yeah.
even if you do, even if I'm going to go home and I'm going to go upstairs, I'm going to cry for an hour.
Hmm.
I still, I don't want you to ever know that it even happened.
Yeah.
Which is why then, if someone tries to be like, oh, um, this felt wrong. Correct it. If I'm not in like a healthy space, like all you're doing is ripping open a band-aid that I already got fine with, right? Because nines love to be fine or okay. And when we're
Hmm.
not, right? But
Yeah.
it's like you're poking at something where the emotional response is so strong that I am afraid to let it out. And
Hmm.
then you're trying to be like fixing it
Yeah.
and I need to withdraw to fix. Like that part is really that's hard. That's hard to navigate.
And I think there's a seven fix thing going on too, like the willingness to
Okay.
just let's see, be done with something, like
Yes.
you know what I'm
Seven wing
saying,
eight.
seven wing eight, yeah, just that willingness to cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not quite rejection. I don't know. Anyway, there's something
No, because there's
kind of
so
like that
much,
there.
like there's like despite all of the froth and the fizz and the glitter and the glitz, like if you were to ask me like does 972 feel like triple positive? I'd say no. It feels like um misery and agony sometimes, like the a nine having to hold seven wing eight as their brain is like frustration and you can do nothing about it. I mean, like there's so much like things could be or hope to be or whatever, but it's like you don't have the drive or the power or the push, you know? Like there's
Yep.
just it's torture. It's like it feels like that, because it's like seven wing eight is strong. Your eight wing is strong, but the person of who you are is not. It is not strong. Or that's the thing. It's
That's the
you're telling
message. That's
yourself.
the inner message you're telling yourself.
Yes,
Yeah, that's that.
yes,
But again, like this comes full circle to that thing of like holding on to a sense of inner fragility or smallness, but also putting yourself in situations where you can experience more and more of your strength, like watching the movie
yeah.
Precious. Is there anything else like that still happening for you? Like, are you what kinds of
Oh,
things are you doing?
so recently, I got into therapy again because I had actually mentioned that when I wrote that, like I had went into therapy once before when I had to learn how to cut off a friendship that was really toxic,
That's right. Yeah.
and yeah, and like I found a really amazing therapist. She's great. I need to go back to her. I haven't seen her since January, but um we talked about codependency and stuff, terms that you hear thrown around all the time, but yet, like, till you apply them fully to your life, not to a situation you're thinking of at the moment, and you're just like, but like when you go into like a therapy situation and you're like, I have this, and they go, I can see codependency in this, and I can see this term in this, and would you be willing to go home and just like literally, she asked me, she's like, go on Pinterest and look up, certain words. And she's like, just scroll through and screen save the ones that are gonna that stick out to you. And then when we come back next week, let's go through those. It's great because for me, I need homework. Like most of the time in therapy, it's like they get dazzled by this, and then they don't ever get into here,
I
and
can
it's just me
see
throwing
how
my
that
money
happens.
away.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, very easily,
Yeah.
especially because it's like even with you, like the two fix, I genuinely want. I don't like a one sided conversation. I want to know all about the little intricacies of you. I want to know your childhood. I want to know, like it
Hmm.
is actually harder and much more vulnerable for me to do it this way because so much of me
Hmm.
sharing myself is when I ask you questions about yourself and we share together. That
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
my favorite. That's my home and my comfort. And it's also I learn so much. Like I like asking people questions, and most of my relationships with my friends are me almost like counseling them in some ways. Not as much
Right.
now, I've gotten better boundaries, but
Yeah.
it's because it's like I learned so much about your process when you're telling me this story, and that informs me about things that I might not notice in myself.
Hmm.
And it's not always easy to see me because nine hides me, and nine hides me from myself, to where I do almost become like the caricature, or the shield, or the wall, or whatever. And
Hmm.
it's like I don't even check in with this a lot of the times till
Right.
someone pisses me off, and then I'm like immediately like, no, I hate that. Like, I don't know why I didn't know I hated that, but now I know I hate it. Like, fuck that, I hate it. So but like okay, so I kind of got off tangent here. So I learned in that process that, like, and I already knew this, but sometimes it just needs to be said, especially when you're dealing with me. It was like with a parental figure. When you're dealing with a parental figure or any relationship, like, and this is just so cliche, but you cannot make someone want to have self growth. You cannot, like, you doing the inner work, even when you alone are working on yourself, the people in relationship with you, that alone, with them doing nothing, can be scary for them, because you're going to change and grow and evolve, and you could change and grow and evolve away from that relationship. It can,
Yeah.
they can recognize that it's positive and good, and still have that fear of, what does that mean for us?
Hmm.
Um, so like I would overshare with, like, in this situation, and I would expect them to get it, and they'd be constantly missing me, and then I would be noticing the miss, trying to call attention to it. They haven't done any of the inner work to even understand what's going on. Yeah, and so it's like it becomes this codependent thing of my expectations being something that's not, it's not possible. So it's like, if you can't make people change, you wouldn't want to, because you wouldn't want to have changed yourself before you were ready. So it's like I had to settle into that, and I had to settle into, I can just have a boundary and it's fine.
One of the things that is really striking to me about you, other than all the glitz and the glitter and all that's the that you
The froth.
describe, the froth, yeah, that you describe, which, by the way, it makes a lot of sense to me why a therapist would have a hard time kind of like finding the way through the
Yeah.
the maze of that into the more vulnerable places in you, and why it would be
Yeah.
useful for you to have homework and then kind of like a structure for you to come back to. Like, I
Yeah.
thought about this. Okay,
Oh,
here are
yeah,
some
it's
things I'm
great.
relating to. Yeah. Anyway, so I could see how that would be the form of therapy, a form of therapy that would be actually, I don't know,
Super helpful.
give you some bumpers, to so
Well,
you can
yeah,
stay
because
on track.
otherwise it feels like just someone being
Yeah.
nice to me, and it's like everyone's
Right.
nice to me. I don't need nice. I don't need nice.
This is something I okay. Another 7 wing 8 that um sevens, people with 7 energy, I think, high up in their stacking, have said this to me a number of times, where it's like, I don't need someone to help me reframe in a positive way anything else. I need help. I need someone to help me stay with the pain, the remorse, the things that are
Yeah.
hard. And one of the things that, as back to my original point, what I find striking about you is that even as a 9, this kind of like harmony seeking 9 wing 8, you have so much of a willingness, even with 2 fix, actually, it's like this like kind-hearted, you have this willingness to just be like kind of brutal and
Hmm.
just and like flippant and
I love
even
it.
and
I love it.
negative, but it's fun. It's like
Hmm.
entertaining, fun, negative, shit
Yes.
on this thing, like who cares, go away,
Hmm.
that kind of an energy.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to feel that from you in a package that also defaults
It's
to, oh my god, I'm
nice.
so sorry, I hope I wasn't
Yeah.
making you
Yeah.
upset, kind of a
It
thing.
doesn't make any sense.
It's really it's
It
really
doesn't
weird. Yeah,
make sense.
yeah.
Dude, in high school, I was obsessed with the movie Fight Club. I watched it every day for like 2 years. Like, and that is literally just like joy and delight in getting fucking
Every
pummeled
hold on, every
every
day.
day for 2 years. I broke
That
the
is
first
crazy. Okay,
VHS,
wait,
and I
wait.
had to
Did you?
buy another one.
Can you? Okay, did you watch the episode with Kate Ortega, the 7 wing 8, social sexual 7 wing
Yes.
8, also
Yes.
9 wing 8? That's crazy. Okay, she had the same thing where she reads Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
Over and over and over again.
And it's so her comfort, and it's so mine. Like, you were right when you were talking about that. So for me now, it's Howl's Moving Castle. It's a Miyazaki
I
film.
love that movie. Oh my God.
I watch it. It's like my go-to. Like, my fiance could probably quote that shit. I have watched. He's like, if you have a drink, he's like, I know Howl's Moving Castle will be on when I go to bed. And I'm like, when I'm night after like a little bit of vodka or wine, Howl's Moving Castle. I just want that music in the background. I love it. Calcifer's Heart. He's a 7.
I guess
right?
I have to just
Calcifer has to be a 7.
I have to just put some words to that, because I'm so fast. I was blown away and fascinated when Kate revealed that thing about Harry Potter. Just for people who are watching, watch that episode. Go watch that episode. But Kate had a thing where she would read Harry Potter over and over and over and over and over again. And just she would finish the series, go back, start it again. Finish the series, go back, start
Obsessed.
it again. And this thing about like this comfort.
It's like self-soothing.
It's a self-soothing thing, and both people with trauma, in their history, and so
there's something about that.
Yeah, I just think that's.
I
really
don't know what it
fascinating.
is, but it's great.
Well, it's I guess the way that I would articulate it from an Enneagram point of view, and I'm sure there's more depth to it than this, but you've got the 9-wing 8. I want to block out everything that's uncomfortable, and I want to like commit to the familiar things that provide comfort, and it's like I know I can rely on this to make me feel cozy and safe and yummy and warm, whatever. And it's a 7-wing 8, but it's also 7-wing 8 in the sense that it's like I'm not responsive to anyone who might say you maybe should move on from this piece of, like, maybe there's other thing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a self-anchored knowing of that. This is nourishing for me. You're not going to tell me. You're not going to tell me like I should watch something else, or I should read another book, or I should seek some.
Show me
it's
one
like,
better.
I know this works. Whatever. Yeah. There's like a mental impenetrability, you could say, with 7-wing 8, where it's like here's another way to put it: is I think of the mental fixes are about how do I achieve a sense of certainty, and with 7, it's how do I achieve a sense of certainty about what will be optimally nourishing for me, and 7 with 6-wing is
Dionysian almost.
Yeah, 7 with a 6-wing is I'm seeking. I'm pinging off the collective. What do other people think would be good for them? But then, no, that's not quite right for me. Okay, here's where I am. But it's kind of like triangulating my position.
There's much more of a socialness to the 7-wing 6. It feels like a social aspect.
Yeah. But 7-wing 8 is, I think, referencing its own internal somatic anchoring for certainty. Rather than pinging the 6-wing attachment mental center collective, 8 is self-anchored. So that's why it's like, does that make sense?
For me, the concept of independence and self-ownership and all of those things are so integral to me. Like, it's like, I want to love someone for who they are because of their individualness. I love myself. Well, sometimes I do. I have a tenuous relationship with myself at times, but that's a lot of us. But it's like, I just value. I don't mind. It's not like a 4 fix where like it's like lofty, right? Like there's. I don't think that's because I mean, I can do that. Like, I'm a millennial, so we're all like a little bit of a douchebag. We're a little elitist. There's a little elitist in us all, but it can be something everyone loves, but it's like there's a uniquely personal part of it to you or to that person. And I do, I guess, sort of attach people to things too in some ways. Like my best friend, like when I think of her, I think of like 50 Cell pinup, because like that's like when I met her, she would do rollers and do like victory rolls in her hair, and like that's always been her aesthetic. And so it's like that. I do kind of it's like you have a signature, and that's you. It's not like there's not a million girls doing 50s style hair and pinup stuff, but like she's the only one, and I know like the love and detail that she has for, I don't know, like, but it is very like thingsy, and then like singular to the person. But I think that's why having the trifix and even doing like the collages like they do in Enneagram Like, I love them because they are like they're a uniquely personal signature, but then it's like, then you start to pick up on the correlations, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sevens love bright colors, you know, or whatever. Sixes, you know, like you're gonna have some white knights and shit in there probably. Like 6-3, they like their shining armor and on the horses and stuff, or whatever, you know, whatever the case may be. But it does feel singular. Maybe that is just seven wing eight though, as that fix. Is that it just the delineation is important? I don't know. I feel like I feel like everyone around me when I was first like on the Enneagram type boards on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
they were always like, "How are you not a seven? I know you say you're a nine, but you're a seven. You're a seven. You're a seven. You're a seven." And I was like, I get that the outward approach, even online, just listening to how I talk, I get that I appear seven. But when you look at the things, I always, to me, Enneagram made sense because it was the ugly stuff. It was the things you're trying to hide.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing had me feel more laid bare and wide open to the world like nine did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because when
Yeah.
the first test I did was eclectic energies, and it had to be typed as a four. And so it's like I read stuff about four, and I was like, I'm not a four. Like
Mm-hmm.
I knew right off the bat. I never even questioned it. It was like this. I thought four fixed maybe.
Yeah.
But that's just because of how depressing and negative I can be. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing I will say. With double eight wings, I do love like casual violence. Like I like, and if you look at like my top movies, there's the part of me that loves Howl's Moving Castle and Sound of Music. Those are my top two. Love them. But then like at the same time, what are movies I watched over and over? Jurassic Park, Goodfellas, and Fight Club. I've watched them millions of times. Millions. I'll watch a million more times. Like, so it's like there's something about like brutality, casual violence, dinosaurs eating people, you're running from them. So there's like a fear domination aspect to that, I think, you know, like, other than
Mm-hmm.
they're just great movies, some of the best ever made, but still. I don't know. Like, my mom's a seven, but there's not a bit of eight in her, you know, like, not a bit. And she's like, delicate. Oh, scary. I can't watch The Walking Dead because of blood. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm like, I want it to rain down from the sky. I want to see someone choke from it. Like, what are we doing? If there's not teeth flying out, why are we not? Why are we here?
I literally just shivered from that image. That's crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's
I love it. I love it.
It's okay. It's okay. No.
I hadn't done a collage in forever,
I just
and
can't.
I got
It's just
off
this
of the
this thing. This has been the whole thing of this interview. Is making me laugh. It's like you. I mean, I've said it 3 times already, but it's like
casual violence.
Well, no, but you get on the train. You talk about how you deliver this big energy. You give these huge images. I want to see people choke on their blood, and then as soon as I have as soon as I wince like a little bit at something, you're like, oh, I'm sorry. No, it's okay.
Yeah, I didn't mean to hurt you.
Yeah.
Never
Which,
my
by the
intention.
way, coming back to, are you a 9 or a 7? I mean, to me, that right there is the evidence. That's all the evidence I need, really. Is that?
Oh, for sure. Yes,
Yeah.
because why would a seven ever even notice that you were bothered by it or care? Especially a seven wing eight. A seven wing eight, I don't think would, even if you winced like that, they'd probably be like, okay, like, or something. Like, I feel like it would just be much more non-emotional
Right.
kind of thing.
Okay.
But I am a loud nine. There ain't many like. I feel like there's not too many nines out here that are like this, or maybe they're just all in hiding.
You're a
Where
special
are
9.
you?
I agree. I think you're a special 9. So okay, let's come to a closer. But your energy is amazing. I'm blown away by just how much energy you have and how hilarious you are. Okay, so thank you very much, and peace out.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Peace out.
Thank you so much for tuning into my conversation with Cass. If you learned something from this conversation, then please click the like button or hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Or if you're listening to this as a podcast, then you can leave up to a 5-star review and leave a comment if you're listening on Apple or Spotify. Those are free and very effective ways to support me and the show and the work that we do at the Enneagram School. And if you'd like to learn more about the Enneagram, then come check us out at theenneagramschool.com. You can read everything that you want to know about the Enneagram there, as well as check out our intro course. I also recommend you get on our email list where you will receive weekly updates about when we produce new shows, as well as new classes and retreats that are coming. and soon also new type descriptions that are going to get pasted on the website and things of that nature. And also, if you think that you'd be a good candidate to be interviewed on the show, then I'd love to hear from you. You can contact me right through the website at the contact form. Preference strongly goes to people who've been officially typed by the typing team at Enneagrammer.com, who are, in my view, the world's most accurate, most precise Enneagram typing team. Check out their typing services at Enneagrammer.com. And finally, this show is part of a consortium of Enneagram collaborators that I want to plug. Synsomnia is the podcast where the Dream Girls discuss the relationship between the Enneagram and the unconscious in the dream world. And House of Enneagram is a new podcast where all of our creative Enneagram collaborators live under one roof and explore different niches of the Enneagram, as well as its application to other personality theories, pop psychology, pop culture, TV shows, movies, things of that nature. So all the links to all that will be in the show notes. And thank you very much. I'll see you next time.